But okay, let's keep going here. Let's keep on trucking to the last anime, and that is Jobless Reincarnation Season 3, Episode 1. And this starts where Season 1 left off, with Eris disappearing after banging Rudy, and she says she got Rudy for her 15th birthday.
Which is such a weird sentence.
Yep. That made me more uncomfortable than I Want to Love You to Your Dying Days and anything that the Frontier Lord had in it.
Well, the Frontier Lord, there's a bunch of adults. This is, again, Hermit. Shout out to Hermit for having... he's right. He's just right.
And again, we can look at it in the vein of the story. We understand that these two kids, they're both 15 at this point in time, that kids be doing kid things, and they live in a world that doesn't have guns or machines.
No, Rudy's still a 40-year-old man, and at this point, a 56 to 60-year-old man in a 14-year-old body.
He identifies as a 15-year-old kid.
The knowledge of what you've been through and having the knowledge doesn't excuse the weirdness that because this isn't real, because nobody has experienced this, we still have to look at it through the lens of what we are. We don't know if isekais are real. I haven't been isekai'd to heaven and lived out a whole life. This is basically a dream, is what we can say. And it just doesn't feel right with what we've had as an upbringing.
I agree with that. We had this discussion before too.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna give you the equation real quick. If you had a dream, and in your dream you lived out this instance where you were born and you lived 14 years of life, and then you had relations with another of the age of that, and then you woke up right after, like, say Rudy wakes up and he's back in his normal body, and he wakes up and he's like, oh shit, that was a crazy dream. That was crazy. I'll tell everybody about the other stuff. I'm not going to tell people about that part that happened. Like, literally, you just wouldn't, right? You wouldn't say that part because you should feel shame. You should be ashamed. Your brain's doing weird shit behind your back, bro.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Okay.
I mean, I do and I don't know how to feel about it. Like, part of me is like, okay, Rudy, he basically didn't get to live life. And I guess that's not an excuse. Just because and I mean, a lot of this too, I suppose you can say is Rudy's fault. Like, yes, you can say he had PTSD from being like tied to the school gates while getting pantsed and all the teachers are there with the kids laughing at your wiener. But you can have the whole thing like with your brother and like with your family. And then everyone, let's not forget, when Rudy was taken from his home after his parents decided to stop paying for it, he was literally jerking off to like toilet videos when the Secret Service dudes busted into his room and like took him away. Let's remember what Rudy actually did when he was a 30-year-old. Mm-hmm. He basically quit high school because he got embarrassed. And apparently that's a big thing that happens in Japan when you get bullied or you don't feel comfortable in terms of like going out or interacting with people. You get burned. Like, a single girl denies your love advances or like makes fun of you for them. Like, I get it. I understand that like shit happens, shitty shit happens, shit that shouldn't happen happens. And I understand that. But then you as an individual, especially Rudy when he hits 30 years old, there's a point in your life that you can no longer use those bad experiences as an excuse for like not progressing. Like, if you're 13, yes, understandable. If you're 16, still understandable. Bad family life, everything going on. It sucks. I get it. 18, I'll give it to you still that you can use that. But then once you start getting into like the late 20s, early 30s, there's a point where you can no longer use those as excuses, and you should be able to either move past those experiences or learn from them and then like continue on with your life. The fact that your life stops specifically at the age that that bad experience happened to you, I don't think is fair for you or for the people around you. And then as you get older, it becomes less and less acceptable that you use that as an excuse. So yes, long story short, yeah, Rudy's fucked up. What he's doing, I don't agree with, I suppose, but I also agree with you that it's still fucked up.
Okay, so here's my thing. This story doesn't need the isekai portion of it. Like, so far, the portion of it being an isekai does not have any... I mean, we've had the girl that last season that was like, oh, I was also isekai'd from Japan, but I want to get back. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to. Sure, if you were going to write this story as of from where we are right now, I know nothing about the future of the story. I knew a few things, but what I mean is from where we are right now, it just feels awkward to have this scene. I should say that this scene is more sensible because it's from the perspective of somebody that's experiencing this world. And because what we know about Rudy is all of this other information, it makes it awkward. But if it was just from Eris's perspective and she's like, I was in love with this guy, I realized like I needed to go because if I were to stay, I would just give myself and my dreams up to be with him. Like all of that is a fine way to feel. But all of what Rudy is doing is the weird shit.
I agree. Because at this point in time, not like during this flashback, but when we get back to the main story, how long has it been?
I think Rudy's 18 when we get back, right?
Yeah, so this guy is like almost 50 at this point. Like him, original form Rudy, is like almost 50 at this point.
Yeah.
I think this was our discussion before. Like, is it weird where...
He was 34 years old in his original life when he died. So, yeah, he's almost 50.
Yeah, I mean...
Or above 50.
In this world, I mean, he is the age of his character, right?
Yeah, which is like 14 at this point, at the end of season 1.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we look at it from the perspective of the isekai world, it's not weird.
Right. But because we have all this additional information, it becomes weird.
I mean, it does become weird, but should we hold that against Rudy as the viewers?
Here's the thing is we have to hold it to the standard of the knowledge that we have in this world. This is all speculative because none of us know of this existing or not. The transfer of consciousness and the retention of memories after a passing. This is all fiction.
Oh, we had this discussion about Dracula and vampires, I think, where...
Yes, but it's different because I was in the reference of talking about, like, in that discussion, we were talking about...
Like that 10-year-old girl that's a 100-year-old vampire or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. But that's also Interview with the Vampire does a really fucking good job of that. Oh, it makes me angry the way that it becomes sexualized. Like, you can talk about the opposite side of it and have it be a real situation. Talk about the kid that's fucking 100 years old looking like a 10-year-old, how they can't have normal connections with people because they'll remain 10 years old for the rest of their life. Like, that's a different discussion, and that's a different evoked emotion. Could you imagine being 80 years old having never known what, like, physical affection or love is because you've been permanently in this 10-year-old body? That's a different discussion.
So in the case of the vampires, then would it only be okay to have interactions with other vampires that are in the same situation as you? So now
I don't even know if that's okay. It just all feels fucking weird, man.
Well, anyway, we haven't even gotten through the first note yet. So
I know, fucking Jesus Christ. It's all weird, man.
So Eris got Rudy for her 15th birthday, and it isn't quite like they promised, but they belong to each other now.
Or do they? Oops.
Yep. And Eris pulls an Arashiyama from Marriage Toxin and says she always is relying on Rudy and she's not worthy of him. So she packs up her stuff, cuts her hair, and the intro is of her and Ghislaine journeying, cutting shit up. And they get to some snowy village and they get to some sword training school and they're like, holy shit, it's Ghislaine. The one thing that we did like about Jobless Reincarnation is how they did the intros, where the intro was more information that they applied to the story without it just being like an opening song and then they run the same graphic. They actually utilize that extra about 2 minutes ish that would have just been lost if they created just a regular intro, which is something that I like about Jobless a lot. But they all gather in the hall, and then the blue-haired dude is Ghislaine's master, and she's like, I want you to train Eris. And Eris is like, you fucking suck. And the students are like, oh, no, you didn't. You're in the presence of Gal Farion, the sword god. Gal is like, oh, shit.
He's kind of a cool character, let's be real.
That's you. I feel like that's you.
I don't think I would no.
Yeah.
His mascara is on fleek, though.
You got that scar. You got the blue hair. You have a jacket just like that.
I fucking don't anymore because it was stolen out of my car.
Oh, well, the sword god should get it back.
If I knew who took it, I would chop him up.
Oh, dear. But Gal is like, oh, sick. You got sick eyes, Eris. Who you trying to kill? And Eris says, the dragon god Orsted. And Gal is like, oh, shit, you right? Compared to Orsted, I am shit. And I can't believe that I'm not the only one that wants to kill him. So Gal doesn't like Orsted either. Gal is like, anyone can talk big. Hey, Gino, loser student in the back, fight Eris. And he's like, well, okay. And Eris just charges Gino and literally just bends his neck in two with a wooden sword. And now Gino's
That
dead.
kid's dead as shit. I know we see him later in the episode, but that kid got fucking rolled.
Yeah.
Like, that broke his fucking neck, and that kid's dead. Oh, man.
Gal is like, you see what I'm saying? That dude sucks. Okay, Nina, you're up. And then Nina and Eris fight. And Nina breaks Eris's sword, but then Eris just beats her down with her fists, and Nina
beats the absolute shit out of her.
Pisses herself.
She does.
Eris looks at Nina's sword, and it was a real sword disguised as a fake sword. And Gal is like, okay, I take you on. Hey, you got a nice sword. Is that a Julian? And Eris is like, I don't fucking know. And he's like, well, I got a Julian right here in my pants. And then he unsheathes his sword.
No, Greg!
And Eris charges and instantly gets fucked, but survives the attack. And Gal is like, sick. Eris is now a sword saint, and she'll start training tomorrow. Are you okay?
I'm doing great, Greg.
Okay. Julians are sick.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
His sword is dope as fuck.
So she trains with Gal, and she isn't landing any blows, and Gal is just like, empty your mind and swing your sword. When you get tired, sit down and think about it. Then get up and swing your sword again. Nina and some other kids are walking and see Eris doing practice swings, and Nina is like, man, why would Dad train someone like Eris? And then she jabs at Eris, saying she's better at brawling than swordsmanship. And the kids are like, got him. But Eris ignores her, and Nina is like, hey, Gino, say some fucking dope-ass shit. And Gino's like, okay. Hey, Eris, you want to come train with us? And Eris
you want to come be our friend? You seem like a really nice person. Thank you for beating me up.
And Eris is visibly frustrated, probably because she's not growing as fast as she wants. Montage of Eris swinging a sword and comparing herself to everyone else, and everyone being faster than her, and she basically takes Gal's advice and is just thinking how everyone moved, and Gino just watches her from afar, almost captivated. But now she trains, and more montage of her training alone, wanting to get back to Rudy, and her hair starts to slowly grow back. Eris heads back from training, and some dude is outside and is like, hey, no one is opening up. And Eris is like, fuck off. And the guy can sense her murderous intent and draws his sword. And he says he's Auber, the peacock blade. And Eris attacks him, but he's pretty good and seemingly gets the upper hand. But Gal is like, hey guys, what are you doing? And Auber is like, hey yo, my boy. He says he got Gal's letter to show up, and then ran into Eris. And he's like, she's a fucking wild animal. Oh, is this the mad dog you were talking about? Eris gets back to her room, and Ghislaine is there, and Eris just being standard brat, which was set up since season 1, so that's all right. And Ghislaine goes to Gal and is like, why aren't you teaching Eris? And he's like, I did. I taught her how to train. And Ghislaine is like, why don't you teach her the blade of light? And he's like, man, when did you start nagging so much? And she's like, man, bitch, I've always been like this. And then they had a bunch of upskirt boob shots of Ghislaine. I don't know if you took any shots of them.
I did not on purpose. Like, he's holding his sword up at her, and you see the sword like right in the cleave, and it's like
going between it and just going.
How is it smaller every time? It's like, dude, I get it. She's got some hunker.
Gal is actually just holding the little plastic cocktail sword.
It's crazy. It's how does the sword get smaller? How does her bra get smaller? Ugh.
Where are her nipples? They're not that high. They can't be that high.
I mean,
maybe they are. They're like that one anime where they were like literally underneath, but
maybe they just
no, it's not that anime. Wisteria, dude. I'm talking about fucking Cauldron or yeah. All right.
What a wild. Yeah.
Gal is like, damn, you too good to listen to your master anymore? And he draws his sword and is like, yeah, I got some regrets about your training. You were like a tiger. Now you're like a baby kitten. And if you stayed hungry, you would be a sword emperor by now. And he won't defang any more of his students.
Beginner, intermediate, advanced, sword sate, sword king, sword emperor, sword god. I knew sword king was there somewhere.
Okay, so he's sword god.
Yes.
Gal says that Eris wants to take on Orsted, and what he can teach her will never be enough to beat Orsted. He says that training is different than practice, and if you got a goal, then there's no point in just following instructions, and she needs more than just lessons from me. That's why I brought Aber. And Ghislaine is like, why is a North God style guy here? Eris isn't going to use that shit. And Gal says, yup, but Orsted will use it against her. Ghislaine is like, who is the dragon god? And Gal is like, don't know, but he can use every move in every style, and he drops no combos. And Sword God and North God moves are no exception. Ghislaine is like, okay, I get it. So you're going to invite the water god too? And he's like, yup, already did. The next day they spar, and Aber is fucking on Eris. And Eris is like, I gotta get strong to stand with Rudis. And Aber is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she says she's the swordsman, and Rudis is the mage. And Rudy is a pretty sweet dude. And then she charges, and then everyone is like, holy shit, she just used Blade of Light, and then breaks Aber's wooden North God sword. And then that's how episode 1 ends.
Okay, so I have some more explanation. When a swordsman of the Sword God schools defeats a sword god, he can assume the title of sword god, the strongest and the head of the school. If the sword god dies for any reason, the next strongest of the sword god school will assume the title of sword god. Therefore, a generational change of sword god means a civil war with the sword god school. Also, practitioners who are of saintly level or above may call themselves kings, saints, or emperors, or god of the sword god school. Similar to the system of water god style, there can only be one swordsman of the god rank, while there can be multiple practitioners that can assume emperor or below. Sword emperor is a rank obtained when two sword kings battle against each other with the sword god as the witness, and the winner is promoted to sword emperor. Cool. Yep.
I don't mind it. I don't mind episode 1 and episode 2, because as we were talking about at the beginning, this is almost like people are calling it like a prologue to the continuation of the Jobless Reincarnation story. So these 2 episodes, we are seeing only Eris and Ghislaine, I suppose, and then the other people that are within this prologue story. You know, we're getting to see Eris's journey, which we didn't really get to see. We got to see Rudy's journey with Eris up until the point of the beginning of this episode. We got to see Rudy's journey of depression and trying to find himself and then running into his dad. So then we got that reunion. We got to the point where he meets Sylphie again at the mage school, and then we kind of get a little background on what she went through. He was kind of chasing after Roxy at the same time as well, and then we got to see a little bit of backstory of Roxy and what was going on there. We got to see Roxy's parents. We got to see the little demon girl that ripped out Rudy's eye and gave him a demon eye. We got to see the big ass 6-armed demon dude, Body Gotti. We got to see Zanoba and a fellow practitioner in making figurines with removable clothing. You know, we get to see like all of this stuff, and pretty much these first 3 episodes are kind of like a refresher a little bit. So 1 and 2 is Eris. So now we're up to speed with Eris. 3 is back to Rudy's story, and then we kind of get to see picking up off of season 2, part 2, after he gets married to Roxy. Part 1, I think he got married to like Sylphie. And then we get to see the interaction with like now the extended family and all of that stuff. So I think episode 4 is going to be like our real dive into the new part of what this arc of Jobless is going to be. Part of me, like, I like this show a lot. I think it's cool. Rudy, really weird parts aside, even then I feel like they're like adding to the story, even though we don't like them, even though they're awkward and weird and, you know, arguably not needed. But I still think that the story is good, and I think those elements add to the story, even though they're personally like awkward to watch and kind of like interact with, which I think shows like a good mind for storytelling. It's like not everything has to be how you like it, as long as it's like building onto the story, and as long as it's progressing the story and the characters and moving us forward. It doesn't have to be everything that we like. Like, it can be things that we don't like. And I think that they want to make us feel awkward. I think they want us to feel like that Rudy's polygamy, marriage, weird shit, and him just being old as fuck, but, you know, in like an 18-year-old's body. I think they want us to feel how weird that is. And I think they're doing a good job. I think this is all going to come around at some point. And the reason why I say that is because of the human god interactions that we see within seasons 1 and seasons 2, part 1 and part 2.
I think they will bring it back around, but I think it's not going to be, it's like with Rudy's kids that they'll make more sense of it, I guess. Hopefully. Because like the more that the story goes on, it feels like this story is about to become less about Rudy and more about what is going on in the world, and Rudy's just being a part of it. It's like Rudy's amassing his party to defeat Orsted.
I agree. And the human god knows Orsted. After their first interaction with Orsted, where he put a hole inside of Rudy, he was like in talking to the human god and shit and what was going on and stuff. And it may not be as like dramatic in like righting the wrongs of this kind of awkward polygamy style.
I personally think that it just the awkwardness detracts from how good the storyline is. And that's my issue, is that they're not writing the awkwardness well. Like, there's so many cooler parts about what's going on that the awkwardness, I don't think it's meant to make you feel uncomfortable. I think that's almost like giving the writer too much credit, because these are other human beings. This isn't, I guess, this is their storyline. They're telling it. And to a certain extent, I do think they have some pitfalls in the way that they're writing this awkwardness, and it amplifies the awkwardness.
I don't think we have enough information yet, right? Like, I haven't read the manga. You haven't read past a certain point in the manga, or you know what is going to happen. And I don't know. Like,
I do now.
Oh, do you? Okay, cool. Awesome. Well,
no. I don't know the whole storyline of what happens.
Okay.
But I was spoiled on Reddit because people are fucking miserable and Google does not understand what push notifications to send to people. And it fucking pisses me off, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just hoping that they revisit Rudy's original form. I'm hoping that this story ends at some point.
I hope so too.
Either he dies and then now he can compare his 2 lives and then feel like he accomplished something in one but didn't accomplish something in the other. I would be curious if in the end, does the isekai world learn of who Rudy actually is, his real person?
Yeah, I have no answers to any of those questions.
Yeah, I don't either.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, if this ties back around and like you have like the epilogue of Rudy's storyline is like he woke up and he's now like in the real world, like dealing with the implications that he lived a full life loving these people and wanting so badly to go back to that love and that care that he had in that other world. And now he's just like a NEET in Japan being like dude, you guys don't understand. I lived a full life.
Hopefully they'll revisit the like returning from isekai plot a little more, because like Rudy died, right? He got hit by a fucking truck while saving some girl from outside of the convenience store, right? Yeah. So I think we can also assume that the black hair girl also died, because that's how you get isekai. You die and they get isekai. So her whole battle of trying to get back to the real world, like what is she trying to return as? Because you're not going to return as yourself. Are you trying to like, bring your isekai body into the real world? Like that doesn't really work.
How much control does the isekai have over time? Would we see Rudy then be reinserted into his body at like 17 and then be able to be like, oh fuck, I have a chance to right all these wrongs?
Yeah.
Or does he return at the point of death? Or does he return like fucking 15 years later buried and now he has to fucking punch his way out of
it's like
a grave, you know what I mean?
And like she has to like punch her way out of the coffin and go get a glass of water from the diner across the street.
Yeah.
I personally like Jobless. I mean, both of us gave it high scores in the previous seasons.
I harp on the awkwardness because I really do like Jobless's storyline. I think it's so fucking cool and their world building is so cool. They do an insane job. And this is like what Wisteria fails at. Is like Wisteria is almost Rudy adjacent without the isekai portion of it, where he gets to travel the world and be stronger and meet all these people and then confront like a massive overpowered thing after we see him be like pretty strong throughout the entire series. So, friends, thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with us for the season premiere of the summer season of the Anime Book Club podcast. Thank you to IT Aesthetics, tab C10 for 10% off your order, and tab C5 for $5 off in a stacking coupon off your order if they have something else running on the website itself to get awesome outfits. Well, shirts. And also thank you to Gamersups. Use code DJ Montague at checkout for 10% off your order, including all limited edition and new items that are coming in and delicious flavors like what was the one we used earlier, Greg?
Oh, bloodied girl teleports behind you, nothing personnel kid.
Nice. And also grabs rice ball out of your hands, or anime girl thighs, which is like an orange creamsicle. It's delicious. Check us out on the interwebs at theanimebookclub.com. Also Spotify at the Anime Book Club Podcast. Also Apple Podcasts, Anime Book Club Podcast, or anywhere that you could see us. Just type in the Anime Book Club and find us. Please go follow us on YouTube. Go follow us on TikTok. You can follow my TikTok. I'll post some stuff on TikTok. Anime Book Club Podcast on Instagram.
The moral of the story is change is scary, but change is good. Look at Eris. She's changing. Even though in the beginning it seems like she's not, she has kind of reverted back to her bratty self, not getting what she wants. And when she doesn't get what she wants, she lashes out in anger, breaking poor Gino's neck into 9 million pieces.
Kid's dead.
As we progress through, she learns, she changes, she gets advice from other people, other swordsmen. And then she uses that advice to grow as a person, to get closer to her goal of reaching the level of Rudeus Greyrat. So change is scary, but change is also good. And set some goals. Push towards change. Become something that you want to be, whether it be Sword Saint, Sword Emperor, Sword King, or Sword God. Work towards those goals.
Thank you so much, friends. It's wonderful to have you here. We'll see you in the next one. Greg, tell them goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!